So now we're going to talk about Philadelphia. So Andrew, what's Philadelphia about?
Philadelphia is a movie about a high-powered Philadelphia lawyer who has recently contracted AIDS, and his health is deteriorating, and like his illness is starting to show. So his company fires him under suspicious circumstances. There's like a document that goes missing at the last minute that he should have sent to like a court or something, and they almost lose a big case.
It was filed wrong,
yeah, so then
even though he filed it right.
Yeah, he files it right, then they say it was filed wrong and they lost it, so they fire him. And then he goes to seek the help of Denzel Washington's character, who was like a smaller time
He's like an ambulance chaser kind of
Yeah,
guy.
It's like a Saul Goodman.
Yeah, he's like a Saul Goodman kind of guy,
Yeah.
and gets him to represent him in a lawsuit against the high-powered law firm for, like, malicious, like, I don't know.
Wrongful termination.
Wrongful termination, there we go, yeah. And so the movie follows that court case as well as Tom Hanks' deteriorating health until eventually, spoiler alert, he dies. But at the very end of the movie, and then they win the case.
Yeah.
Also,
It also follows Denzel's Washington.
Denzel's Washington. That's the plural of Denzel Washington.
Denzel Washington's sort of like coming to grips with like the gay community because he had
With
not
the gays. He has not had exposure to the gays, but he begins to become more comfortable with the gays.
Right, he's Denzel Washington is a homophobe.
Yeah.
He's like a.
But he can't really like word why he does hate the gays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
he's just one of those guys, in the 90s who are just like, gays, ew.
Yeah, like he says to his wife, like, it's just not natural. It shouldn't be happening.
Yeah, he gives this talk to.
It almost seems like how playground boys feel about girls. Like ew, cooties, gays.
But the implication there is that they actually like the girls. But I don't think Denzel's gay.
I guess
It's probably not gay. Yeah. But he says to Hanks' character, like, what they've taught us is that he says like queers are funny. They're dangerous, they just want to get in your pants. And that's the general feeling out there. That's what people think about gay people. And Hanks is like, thank you. as if I did not know. So yeah, his sort of enlightenment is another of the movie's narratives.
So I thought the movie was fantastically done from beginning to end. It made me feel. Mm-hmm. Like, it was very insightful as to how it presented the tragedy of AIDS and how like it makes everybody kind of understand where Andrew, the Tom Hanks' character, is coming from with that. Andrew, what did you think?
It's a Tom Hanks movie. I mean, come on,
right.
like it's just fantastic. He's a joy to watch. So is Denzel. They're just great. Mm-hmm. As a courtroom drama, it feels. I'm not a big courtroom drama fan. I'm not really into those. But this one just totally. I mean, it totally.
I almost had a heart attack twice during watching these courtroom scenes because it was ridiculous how it just kind of dragged you this way and dragged you that way, and you really wanted something to happen, but it didn't look like it would ever happen.
Oh yeah, there's this scene where he has to take off his shirt.
Oh yeah.
Great.
But anyway, yeah, this was definitely my favorite film that we watched. So yeah, it's a good movie.
So now we're going to break down the criteria. So for the Bechdel test, I believe. Well, see, there's a conversation with Andrew and his partner. Are they partners?
They're partners. He's got his boyfriend that he lives with his boyfriend.
But
played by the dad
as a partner in the hospital.
Antonio Banderas.
Yeah, Antonio Banderas is his like angry,
fiery Latino.
What is his profession?
It's implied that he's a professor, I think.
Yes,
because he has classes.
Yeah, he teaches classes.
He's an
and
instructor.
I think he wears one of those professory jackets.
Basically, all they ever talk about is how Tom Hanks is sick and how the doctors aren't doing good enough.
Right, because there's a scene where he first goes to the hospital and he runs in to meet him and he's talking to him.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure. Did they talk about straight people in that conversation, or are they talking about him?
They're talking about
his doctors.
Well, they talk about the doctors.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who, I mean, I don't know. They're not talking about any named characters.
Yeah.
See, I think
there's definitely later scenes where they're just talking about
Right,
their relationship and him.
I'm saying their relationship definitely causes the movie to pass the Bechdel test.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and also like with this scene when he's refusing to take his meds.
Yeah,
Toward the
that's
end,
true.
he gets
Yeah,
really
that's
mad
an
at him. Yeah, I
important
think
scene.
that passes.
Yeah, absolutely. So.
However, I don't think two female characters ever really interact.
Yeah,
they're in the courtroom. You see them, but one of them is not named.
Yeah,
so,
Mary Steenburgen's defense lawyer is not named.
So so for context, there's a lawyer at the law firm who was a witness for the
Or was that a
prosecution?
previous? It was at a previous law
defense?
firm or something.
No.
She was a witness for the defense. No, for the
for
plaintiff.
Hanks's side.
Because it's not prosecution and defense.
Right,
it's
yeah.
civil case.
It's
It's plaintiff and defendant.
defense, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a lawyer from Hanks's law firm, and the defense lawyer, and they talk in a legal capacity,
Right.
but like
But
I said, the
all
defense
while
lawyer-
mentioning the straight white male CEO.
Right, yeah, that's true
So,
too.
I mean,
so,
also, I mean, she's not named, so it doesn't.
they
even-
don't really have a conversation either.
Yeah.
So that's probably.
I mean,
not-
yeah. Is legal interrogation count as a
Not-
conversation?
Probably not passing the Bechdel test on that.
Yeah.
And the racial Bechdel test, I don't think passes either.
No,
Because-
it does. We decided this
Okay.
because remember there's a conversation between Denzel and that guy who hits on him.
Oh,
And
yeah.
then,
yeah.
like, they talk about
Yeah.
gayness, and that doesn't involve any white people.
So Denzel talks to a Penn State undergrad
yeah.
who is black in a convenience store.
Yeah.
And first the guy's just like, hey, I saw your work on TV. I really like it. I think you're handling this case fantastically. And Denzel's like just flattered, and he gives him his business card. And then the Penn State guy is like, do you want to like come get a drink with me? And Washington's like, no, I gotta go see my wife. And the dude's like, well, yeah, I don't try to pick up.
I don't pick
I
up
don't
guys
pick up
at
men in
convenience stores every day.
Yeah, and Washington like
Freaks
lunges
out,
over the
yeah.
counter and grabs him and was like, "What are you saying to me, punk? Like you
Yeah.
think I look gay?" And so it's
Yeah.
a good scene. It's a good movie.
It's a good
and
scene.
it passes the Bechdel test. He also talks to his wife, but he
But
mostly
about
talks to
Andrew.
her
Yeah, I
about
think he
Andrew,
seems
you
to
know.
only, as I remember, he only talks to his wife about
so
Hanks.
lose actor. But that's extra credit points.
Yeah. Good job,
Are we
Philadelphia.
actually counting the extra credit?
Yeah, I think so.
I think it would factor into
For
the
the
final.
final number, yeah.
In terms of harmful tropes, I'm reluctant to throw the bury your gays trope in here as being
Again.
harmful.
Bury your guys!
It's definitely.
But it's there.
It's there.
But is it harmful?
I mean,
Well-
I don't know.
Because people who contract AIDS do die.
They do.
Especially in the 90s when it was like still such a stigma attached to it.
And in some ways, Philadelphia is like an awareness film.
Yeah.
It's a movie that is designed to raise AIDS awareness.
Mhm.
So, but then on the other side of it, like we've talked about, the only way that you get to have a movie about an openly gay main
Yeah.
character is if it is about him dying,
Yeah.
right? So in
Yeah.
context, it's another one of the things where it's like, could Philadelphia have been made, and,
Yeah.
and would Hollywood have allowed it if it was just the story of like if it weren't the AIDS thing, like he gets fired for being gay and he tries to win his right back, and at the end he does, and it's a happy ending.
Yeah.
Could we have that movie?
Not in the 90s.
I don't know, not in the
Yeah.
90s, right? So
Yeah,
Bury Your
exactly.
Gays is at work, I think.
That's a bummer.
To some extent. But that's not to say that,
And then,
historically, as I understand it, this movie was really good for the AIDS awareness.
yeah.
Yeah.
So.
It won best. Okay, I know it won best actor, best original song,
Right.
Bruce Springsteen. I don't know if it won best film. But still, that's notoriety.
yeah.
That's cultural significance. I'm getting ahead of myself. Any other tropes you guys saw? I don't remember seeing. I mean, Andrew is not. He's not a straight gay, because we were talking about this earlier.
Yeah.
He's not a straight gay, but he's
not a camp gay.
not a camp
Yeah.
gay.
Yeah,
So I think he fits neatly between those two tropes. I don't think
Hanks is
it's just those.
Hanks is such a great
Hanks
actor.
is just too good, too gay.
Does his
Yeah.
boyfriend fit into?
His boyfriend
It might be.
there's some racial.
Yeah, I was gonna
Yeah,
say,
yeah. Honestly, it feels more
happening with
racially than gay, like
Yeah.
homophobia.
Any Mexican boyfriend I have has to be a fiery Latino.
He's angry. Fiery is a word that describes his character.
Yeah.
He's really.
He's passionate.
He's passionate. He's hot. But yes, no, there's some racial tropes happening there. And if there are like jokes about homosexuals, they're being overpowered.
Yeah.
By that, so I don't know.
Yeah. Honestly, this movie was so good I can't think of any tropes it presented to me. Aside from video games, which is the bigger one, I guess. So in terms of cultural significance, which is the next criteria.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
it's a big one.
a lot of people know about this film.
Yeah.
I would say it did wonders for the AIDS crisis.
Is this more well known than Brokeback Mountain, or is it just like on the same level?
Oh, I think. See, it's the gay cowboy movie like title that makes Broken Mountain.
I guess.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just
I think
not
more
more-
people have probably actually seen Philadelphia.
Yeah,
Maybe, yeah.
That's true. And Philadelphia has a legacy as a film, whereas Brokeback Mountain's legacy is as sort of a South Park joke.
As the gay cowboy.
I saw a ranking of Tom Hanks' greatest roles that he's ever done on Collider, I think, and number 1 out of 25 was Philadelphia.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that.
Yeah.
I think
And it's directed by Jonathan Demme, who is not an unknown director.
Yeah.
So I think it's gonna have to come out scoring pretty highly. For
Yeah,
Yeah,
I can't see giving this anything other than a 5.
Yeah, so I'm gonna give it full marks for cultural significance.
We didn't rate tropes yet.
Correct. So we're gonna go backwards.
Okay.
So in terms of tropes, maybe I'm looking at a 3 or a 4, because it's. I mean, in context, I don't view barrier gays being as harmful because like it's an awareness movie, so it's like dispelling any notion that AIDS is not a serious thing. So I think it
Or
works
that
in that
it's-
respect.
Or that it is anybody's fault.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
really
Right, yeah.
The notion isn't that AIDS didn't kill you. The
It's-
notion is that AIDS will kill everyone if you touch them or go near them.
Or that
That was the problem with AIDS.
if you get AIDS, it's your fault for deciding
That-
to be gay.
Exactly.
That's what they're really fighting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think 3 is a good rating. I'm thinking 3.
Yeah.
Side with you on
I'll
that.
Because
go-
I don't think the barrier gays gets in the way of the message they're trying to send.
Yeah, although it does get in the way of having Tom Hanks at the end of the movie.
Well, we get
Just
we
to
have,
more
we have
Tom
little
Hanks.
baby Tom Hanks.
Yeah, we have baby Tom Hanks.
Little baby Tom Hanks.
His baby photos and baby footage.
Oh, that's true, yeah. It
Yeah.
ends with this montage of his children's.
And it's like the most gut-wrenching scene.
I think it goes on a little too long, but that's because I have no soul.
Yeah, exactly.
So.
It's still exploitative, I feel like. So yeah, 3 or 4 or 5.
I'm gonna be a rebel. I'm gonna say 3.5.
Okay. 3.5, 6.5,
And then 9.5 out
Alright.
of 15.
9.15. Not bad.
Yeah.
It's like 3/5 the way there.
Yeah.
A bit over that, thanks to Greg.
Alright.
So now let's talk about Point Break.
I know we have to rate cultural significance.
We
I
are.
think it gets a perfect score.
I think yeah. We all said we had a
Cultural
5,
significance, 15 out of 15.
Right?
Yeah.
Ding.
Ding.
Wherever wherever that is on the screen, it's there.
Yeah. So, yeah. So let's talk about Point Break. Now, Point Break.
Point blank.
Point Break. It tells the story of Keanu Reeves and Patrick Swayze. Not Kurt Russell.
Are we sure? Did we double check on that one?
I'm not sure.
So it tells the story of Keanu Reeves and Patrick Swayze, who are star-crossed lovers on the same side of the surf, but on opposite sides of the law. Keanu Reeves is a young, brash FBI agent.
It's his first case, actually.
It's his first case,
Yeah.
so he's partnered up with Gary Busey's Vietnam vet weathered partner to track down the ex-presidents, who are bank robbers who wear president masks and do fairly good Nixon impressions.
Yeah, they do.
And he, I guess, inexplicably tries to get in good with the surfer crowd.
No, it kind of makes sense.
Does it? Okay.
He wants to go undercover to figure out who the bank robbers are.
So why
So
does
he
think
decides he has to learn how to surf and be a surfer.
Yeah.
Because
all bank robbers are surfers.
Well, no, he
So
figures out.
This is the thing that we, the general public, do not know about forensic science.
They figure out
It's-
using forensics that the bank robbers are probably surfers. So it's like wax that gets used on surfboards.
Oh yeah. Oh, because it's Gary Busey's crazy theory he's been working on.
Yeah,
Because
and,
Gary Busey's been stuck on this case for like 20 odd
and
years.
then they can like track the different composition of the sand at different beaches.
Different points.
Yeah, so he figures out
Or
which
different
beach it is.
different
It's not
points.
that important. Anyway, so he ends up in like becoming a surfer dude so that he can get into it with the surfers, and then he meets Patrick Swayze, who is this influential like ringleader of basically a surfer like group, a bunch of surfer dudes, they're like a gang,
Yeah.
and
Like
he's
a
like
gang, but with
Patrick
more
Swayze's
surfboards.
character is like this like hippie dude. He's like jacked and he never wears a shirt, and he's always he's like philosophizing to everybody all the time about how like the surf will set you free and like you gotta like find yourself. Stuff like that.
You're missing some bros at the end of those.
Oh, he
lines.
says bro. He calls everybody bro.
And it's a little weird given Patrick Swayze's age. I don't know if that's just me.
Yeah, it definitely feels. I mean, he's a surfer dude.
Yeah,
It's
that's
very
true.
strong
Yeah,
characterization. And Keanu pretty much quickly figures out that like this is the guy. He's not certain, but he's pretty sure. But he's also kind of taken with him.
Yeah, they're sort of drawn together
Yeah.
because Keanu, like, he was an ex-sports star, so he kind of gets the hang of surfing, and so he shows his mettle with the group, and Patrick Swayze's kind of into that.
Yeah.
So he immediately brings Keanu into the fold.
So we should say that this movie is not explicitly LGBT.
Oh no! One thing we should say about this is that this, aside from
all the gay
testimony
love sex.
from my politics and film professor, hi, and some articles on the internet, this would just be a regular action movie.
Yeah.
However, a lot of people have taken note of some subtext, which we are now exploring.
It's very strong. It's pretty hard to deny once
Yeah.
you hear that, like, Point Break is essentially a love story between two people who are trying to kill each other.
And they don't have sex, but do they have to? Like
They don't have to, no.
They're
They
doing
have a fist
death-defying
have
stunts.
sex with someone you love.
It ends with them having, like, a fist fight in the waves on a beach, which, like, you've pointed out
Yeah,
is, like,
which would normally be where the couples start making out in the waves,
Yeah.
but they're just beating each other.
So it uses that visual, like, language of film.
Mhm.
They are... Keanu Reeves is sleeping with Patrick Swayze's ex-girlfriend. So they have like a brief love triangle
Yeah.
happening where like they're both sort of vying for the same girl,
Mhm.
but it ends up with them in kind of like this sexualized tension between them.
Mhm.
Things get real homoerotic real quick. But then of course
Radio.
this movie is also like a ridiculous action movie. Keanu Reeves jumps out of an airplane
Yeah,
with
apparently
a gun
there's
and no
airplanes.
parachute,
Yeah.
just screaming fuck words.
Yeah.
And then he dives in and like Patrick Swayze's like parachuting down and he's left Keanu Reeves in the plane
Without a
Swayze-
parachute.
Without a parachute, so Swayze's like making
All
him
he
escape.
has is swear words.
Oh, he has to swear words.
Those were-
So he flies
I think
towards
the
him
gun is like if he shoots his gun down at the ground enough times,
Yes,
that will
okay.
accelerate him.
and,
Right? That's his theory,
That's
right?
how physics is. So he like grabs onto him in the air and they're like embraced but basically playing a deadly game of chicken.
Like, I'm not gonna pull the ripcord, you pull it.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna
like,
pull
you
it, that
pull
means
it.
I have to let go of the gun. You're
Yeah,
gonna have to
so-
if you wanna pull it.
Yeah, please.
Yeah.
So this is
20
actually,
feet from the ground they end up pulling it, and then
Yeah.
they get up, and when they get up, I might be reading too far into this, but they're sort of out of breath. They're under the covers of the
Yeah.
parachute,
Ooh.
that is definitely
and they
true.
sort of stagger up.
Yeah, there's some.
I'm surprised
that
they didn't just
imagery
pull out
happening.
cigarettes right there.
Yeah, basically. I don't think they don't smoke. He can't smoke. He's like a hippie, like.
Oh, and then Keanu
He
Reeves.
He can't smoke cigarettes.
Keanu Reeves, as he tells Dr. Cox, his boss, he tells him, like, I cut the skin off my chicken, I'm so healthy,
Yeah, that's true.
So he
Yeah,
wouldn't
I
smoke
cut the
either.
skin off my chicken, sir. I love Keanu Reeves
I
can't
cut the
act.
skin
It's
off.
wonderful. He's hilarious.
Keanu Reeves, his mouth moves,
but his
when
face does not move.
but it's incredible how when he delivers a dramatic line, nothing else, he's a statue. So if there was a biopic about the Lincoln Memorial,
Well, he could definitely.
yeah, I think we know who to call.
What else can we point to that is just demonstrating this
Shower scene.
homoeroticism?
There's a shower scene?
There's a semi-shower scene where we see Keanu just kind of like
grasp
not
his
even-
thigh.
But not
Oh,
not
yeah.
sexual in like a heterosexual sense, because like then he'd be like, oh look at my muscles, I'm bathing. But he's like kind of like bathing.
They're
or
on
whatever.
the beach and they have this like outdoor like
Shower, yeah.
shower thing.
Oh, it's one of those things.
And he's
yeah.
like washing himself, and that's when he like gets jumped by like a different gang of surfers.
Yeah,
and
but
they're,
by
like,
the coke.
yeah,
guys,
they're
yeah.
like
The
some
Coke
bad,
brothers.
worse surf dudes. I guess the bank robbers are pretty bad, but these guys are like drug dealers and
Murderers.
murderers. I mean, they're like gonna come and beat the shit out of Keanu, not because they think he's an FBI agent, but because he's like on their turf.
Yeah, he ran into somebody on a wave, and then the guy like,
Yeah.
clipped his surf
Yeah,
cable.
right. Yeah, and then Swayze comes and saves them, and they
Shirtless.
fight shirtless. They're in the
Well,
they're in the shower.
I think we're assuming that Swayze never wears a shirt.
he does wear a shirt in some scenes.
Are you
He
sure?
is not
Are you sure?
parachuting
And it's
shirt.
really-
Are you sure it wasn't just like he
And
wasn't?
I gotta
he didn't
tell
just
you-
like paint his bare chest.
I gotta tell you, when the shirt in the scenes where he has a shirt on, it's really just off-putting. Like I don't know why. Is this necessary? No.
So that scene is definitely
Yeah.
having some subtext, and again with the violence being substituted for physical intimacy, it's something this movie I think is definitely doing intentionally, like with the surf and the shower. So what happened? The production of this movie is interesting.
Because Ridley Scott was on board with it, and then he dropped it, and so James Cameron said, hey, Catherine Bigelow, who I'm married to, why don't you take a look at this film, and kind of rewrite it. So after she took some stuff with the script, I'm not sure what exactly she changed, but it could be argued that she did add some of this stuff in to make it more explicit, because it could also be argued that this stuff has been present in action movies since the dawn of the action film.
Yeah.
And so what she did, I think, is that she made it so that everything is just a little bit more clear and more apparent and more explicit, but just a littlest bit.
So it's in some ways like a modern. It's kind of a criticism, but also sort of like an enlightening, like a bringing to light of this this thing that is really important to all action movies, like big dudes with like big muscles and no shirts, like battling it out,
Trying to
and,
one-up each other.
one-upping each other. You know, there's something. The critical tradition that we've been reading, some of these, the writers that we read on the internet.
The internet tells us.
Yeah, that, you know, this sort of homoeroticism is present in just the action film as a genre, and Point Break is sort of trying to comment on it.
I'm watching it and I'm sort of looking at all the different subtexts, and all I'm thinking of is the Fast and Furious.
Yeah.
And thinking that is A, sort of a direct homage to Point Break as a film, but then B, I mean, you can't deny some Paul Walker, Vin Diesel stuff going on. You know?
I haven't seen the Fast and
It's
the Furious.
It's not as...
I've seen parts of it.
You can't look at it and go, all right, that's definitely some, homosexual undertones. But, like, you can sort of see that it's very similar to Point Break, so I don't know.
At this point, I'd like to point out that Point Break is also a bad movie.
It's not the best,
but it's really good too. It's like the Nicolas Cage of action movies.
This movie, I think, is young, dumb, and full of cum.
This is part. So the homoerotic subtext is begun by kicked off by Keanu Reeves' boss, who is the guy from Scrubs, Dr. Cox.
John C. McGinley.
Yeah, John C. McGinley. Who's like, for some reason is really like hates Keanu for being a young FBI agent and like wants to harass him. So he's like, I get it. You're young, dumb, and full of cum.
And so we go,
and you
what?
think you're gonna come in here and do your stuff.
That's not
and
something
we're like,
you say.
That's not something you
I say that every day. What are you guys talking about?
That's like, he's like sexually harassing his intern. But yeah, so like, we get this really early marriage of like sexualization imagery and like gruff masculine, like, because it's like the cop movie trope, like, you're a hothead, Lebowski, or whatever.
You're a loose cannon.
You're a loose cannon, full of cum. Like, you know, it happens right away, and that's another good point too. We should write this down.
So now we're gonna get into the criteria. So for the Bechdel test, it's a little tough because is Is it tough? Is it tough as I think it is? Because I don't see.
Are there any female
They
characters?
are not explicitly gay,
no
but there is a implicit attraction.
Yeah, I feel like it doesn't apply. Me being the expert who has not seen the movie.
Well, the Bechdel test can be applied to any movie, and it just will fail. The homosexual Bechdel test will fail for a huge more than the female one will, because there are just less gay people in movies.
No representation.
I think it fails.
Everyone.
Every single one of these.
Okay. Are there black people?
No.
Are there women?
Well,
No.
there are.
Are there
minority
explicitly gay
characters.
people? Are there people who we know are gay?
No.
Then it doesn't have the capacity to pass it.
There's one woman.
Who is?
And it's very unfortunate the way this movie decides to handle her.
But it's kind of
Wait, no, I want to hear this. What happens?
it's a counter argument to my view of Catherine Bigelow kind of rewriting it to kind of push the homosexual themes outwards at the expense of its only female character, who is treated as
She's a prop.
she's a plot device through and through.
Yeah.
She's a damsel in
that.
distress at the
Okay.
end, and it's Keanu Reeves' way into the action of the film at the beginning.
Yeah.
Which is really unfortunate because the actress brings a whole character to this movie.
She's the best character in the film.
Yeah, she.
What's
That's a good
She's
point.
the best performance.
Who's
She's
the actress?
Lori Petty.
Yeah, and she's the best.
So many
person in the
movies
film.
do that. They take like a good actress with like maybe a decent character and then just don't fucking use her because
Yeah.
like Hollywood doesn't know how to use women in movies.
It's like
No, because women don't sell.
So they say. While we were watching, or just after, you were like, it's as if, your friend comes in and is trying to tell you an interesting story, and you're just like, I don't care. She's
that's
going with
nice.
this
Anyway,
character,
yeah.
and the movie just does not care about her.
No.
So that is a problem with Point Break.
Every like plot movement with her is just sort of abrupt. Like she all of a sudden figures out that
Yeah.
Zombie says to you.
And she's suddenly pointing a gun at him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh well.
We're sorry, Lori Petty.
I'm sorry, Lori Petty.
We're sorry. So it fails the Bechdel test with flying colors.
Mm-hmm.
So for tropes, I see this is tough.
It is tough.
This movie's tough to grade on our scale.
It would definitely be like the
It's
straight gay thing,
full
right?
of tropes. If
Like we have to assume that they are gay when we're doing the tropes because otherwise it doesn't even.
I guess.
all right, well
It
then
does-
they
none
are
of those can
they
apply.
are like straight gay, like on a whole other level.
Yeah, so
It's
that's-
not even just straight.
They're
gay.
like closeted.
They're
Basically.
Like,
they're
I feel
closeted.
like-
yeah.
Yeah, having not seen the film, I can just assume it's full of tropes. But
That's
if
not-
it is full of tropes, like I feel like that can be excused
Full of action movie tropes.
because it's just kind of like it's almost like trying to make fun of everything else, right?
But on the other hand,
it's not like legitimizing
On the
the
other
tropes. It's almost
hand-
like by showing these tropes, it's delegitimizing them.
Oh, maybe.
the homosexual subtext in no way interferes with the characterization of Swayze's character and Keanu's. Like they are just the film gives them as rounded, like complete realistic characters as it can, and then in like sort of subversive ways also portrays their emotional lives and their sexual lives, so in some ways, except obviously for Philadelphia's portrayal of homosexuality, which is Tom Hanks, who is basically our savior. It's almost the best, and least, there's almost no possibility for it to be harmful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you do get the trope, I guess. Does bigger gays even apply here?
I don't think it does, because the movie, it could not have been a gay action movie.
No.
But it wouldn't have wanted to be a gay action
Yeah.
movie. It wants to be an action movie where like the
action
homoerotic tension is like driving the plot, and it just sort of is trying to tell you that it is in these subtle but less subtle ways than the everyday action movie. So
And one trope I can think of is not an action movie trope. It's not necessarily a gay trope. It's a romantic trope of if you love him, let him go. But it's done in the most like masculine, hardcore action movie way possible.
It's wonderful.
Where, spoilers, I guess. At the end of the movie, the gist of it is that Keanu Reeves lets Patrick Swayze go surf these dangerous Australian waters, like, instead of arresting him, because he knows that he will die in those waves, and that's the way Patrick Swayze wants to go.
Yeah.
And
He
so
said so.
that's the way that this is If You Love Him, Let Him Go. Because he still cares about him.
That's absolutely what happens. But
Yeah.
it uses that trope to the effect of its like whole thesis. Like it's trying to like tell you these people are in love, and it uses this trope that totally works in the context of the action movie, but it's also a romance trope.
Yeah.
I really like Point Break, you guys.
Point Break is better than it has any right to be. As a whole, maybe without this analysis, if we had never known this was a gay film, I would have written it off, I think.
I mean, it still would have been. It's highly watchable.
It's watchable.
It's just this.
Beginning to end, you will not be bored.
Yeah, it's definitely not a boring movie. Yeah. You will laugh at Keanu Reeves.
If you like slow-mo shots of Patrick Swayze surfing, you're in for a good one.
Lots and lots of shots.
So if you hate Patrick Swayze's shirts,
Yeah.
or if you want to be Patrick Swayze's shirt,
and if you want to see Gary Busey before he went full whack job, there you go.
I don't know what that means.
have you seen him now?
I don't know who it is.
Stable is not a word I would use.
All right, so we got a good cultural significance of Point Break.
Well, actually, we still score tropes.
Oh, we do.
So I would give it a 5.
We get it so wrong for Philadelphia.
Yeah, I'm giving tropes a 5.
Yeah, me too. 5.
I didn't see it.
How does it sound?
It sounds. See, I'm gonna give it 5 because I feel like whatever tropes it does have, you can't take them seriously. Like it's making fun of the tropes that it does have.
Yeah.
You know. So I think that's a good thing.
No.
No, keep it. 15.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect score.
Perfect score. Yeah. It's just.
So cultural significance. I'm gonna bring up Fast and Furious again,
Okay.
where for the purpose of whether it's just referencing just the movie itself, Point Break, or the themes therein, the movie definitely lives on in those films. I'll have to watch those again in the context of undertones.
It's significant in this very specific way with the action movie.
Mm-hmm.
It definitely had an impact on the action movie sort of legacy.
Yeah. Now let's theory here. This movie was remade last year.
Oh yeah.
With Ray Winstone and nobody else that
Why?
he knows.
Why did they remake
That's
the
what I
movie?
don't understand.
I don't think it made any money either. I don't know who's
Whose idea was this, and why is
Did even the first release make any money?
Wait, wasn't Red Dawn was also remade in sort of like the same and shot in sort of the same? I don't know. That's cinematography
shot in the same
of the
like
new Red
studio.
Dawn and the new
There's
Point Break.
absolutely no reason to remake Point Break. Like, there's no
Yeah.
reason.
Because I was going to say, because like they're just remaking Patrick Swayze films.
No.
Next is Dirty Dancing.
I'm gonna have to come down pretty low on the culture.
Oh, that was Step Up. Oh, oops.
Step Up.
Step Up 2 to Streets was a direct.
I first heard that on an Ask a Ninja podcast, and I thought it was a joke. But that's really the name of the movie.
Yeah.
Anyway,
So culture significance score?
I'm gonna have to give it a 2.
Yeah, 3, because I'm still hanging on to that Fast and Furious thing.
I mean, I don't know. Like.
Have you heard of Point Break?
I had heard of Point Break.
Okay.
I just knew. I was like, oh, it's an action movie with Keanu Reeves. You know, like. But I did get the feeling that it was like the almost so bad it's good kind of movie. But I didn't get any of the gay parts of it.
Yeah.
So like, I feel like
That's
it's
really
just,
good. It's just like
it's not.
the articles.
It isn't culturally an LGBT movie.
Yeah.
It's an action movie, and only upon the academic or
right? Yeah, you
intellectual,
have to really.
Reflection do you notice the LGBT parts. So like I would say that's not culturally significant at all. I'm gonna give it a 1.5.
All right.
With a 0.5.
2. It's only him.
That's
3.5. 6.5 out of 15.
See, because otherwise it's got a perfect score in tropes, so it can't do well on cultural significance because that makes this the best movie.
It's a hidden gem.
It's very much a hidden, just as Death Trap was. This is also less hidden, but it's a better gem.
The gem part is hidden.
The gem.
The gem part's hidden.
There's more.
It's like an old like rock that looks really ugly, and then like on the other side there's a gem.
You mean a diamond in the rough? So now we're gonna get into the final part of the review, where we look at and compare the scores of all the movies and decide which one, per our scale, is the more progressive of the films, and whether that adheres to my hypothesis of the more modern films being more progressive. So, Brokeback Mountain has a score of 20.5 out of 30 with 1 Bechdel test passage. And so we deemed the Bechdel test passage worth 1 extra point. So, the 21.5 for Brokeback Mountain. Death Trap has...
Your rationale for making the Bechdels 1 point?
Well, the Bechdels, it shouldn't be hard to do. Like, it's not hard to sit 2 named characters down who are women, or who are racial minorities, or who are gay, and have them talk about something that's appropriate, like, to them, that's, like, relevant to them. It's not difficult to do. Movies, producers. So, that's why it's 1 point, because it shouldn't be that hard to do. So Death Trap is 13.5 with 2 Bechdel tests passage, making it... Oops, those are wrong words. So
they're never the wrong words when they're coming out.
Death Trap has a 15.5 total, 2 of which is coming from Bechdel tests.
Carol is a 26 out of 30 with 2 Bechdel tests, making it a 28 out of 30, which is nearly a perfect score.
Philadelphia got a 24.5 out of 30, and it had 1 Bechdel test that it passed, so that makes it a 25.5, which isn't bad.
No, not bad at all. And Point Break has 21.5 and no Bechdel test passing.
Mm-hmm.
So it stays at a 21.5.
Right.
Per my hypothesis, we're going to look at if the films, as they go forward, do have sort of a trend to be more progressive. So let's start way back in 1982 with Death Trap, which has a score of 15.5. And then the next film is Point Break in 91, I think.
Yeah.
Which is a 21.5, which is following the trend.
Oh wait, Point Break and Brokeback Mountain are tied.
They are tied.
Oh my god.
Dun, dun, dun.
Point Break and Brokeback Mountain
Are the same movie!
It makes sense. Okay, no, because then Brokeback Mountain comes after Point Break.
No, Philly was.
Oh,
Philly
yeah.
was 1994.
Oh man.
So Philadelphia in 1994 has a score of 25.5, which is still following the trend. However, Brokeback Mountain is an outlier in 2004 with a score of 21.5, which leads directly to Carol with a 28. So, for the most part, my hypothesis does trend correctly.
Looks pretty good.
With the exception of Brokeback Mountain. With the surprising exception of Brokeback Mountain.
Yeah.
Did not see that one coming.
You would think that it would score, fairly high, not have the same score as Point Break. But, so, as you can see, my hypothesis was proven correctly. However, let's look at what we thought, personally, what the most progressive film of the bunch was. Greg, what did you think?
I mean, it's hard to say that it's not Carol just because they just presented these 2 women as just 2, normal human beings who had feelings for each other.
Mm-hmm.
And, there's just an air of normality to it, even in their, the oppressive atmosphere of the 50s, 60s.
So natural.
Yeah.
Now, I would add on to that just because mine is also Carol, that, the only non-normal part of it was the name of her daughter, Large.
Large.
Which is a period thing.
Don't name
But
your
it
son
is,
Harge.
it's funny.
What was the daughter's name? Largina? Natty Light.
Yeah, that was it, Greg. Yeah.
Large and Natty Light.
Coming this fall on NBC.
I would also probably pick out Carol as
I mean,
the most progressive. It just sort of wins, right?
It was a tour de force of
Yeah.
progressivism in a film
Yeah.
that was sadly underrepresented at the Academy Awards.
Should we say our second?
I don't know. Do you think that matters? Do you think?
I don't know.
We could just go.
What was the least progressive? I think. What was your least? What did the least for you?
The least for me, progressive wise?
Yeah.
I don't even know.
Well, having not seen... Oh, wait, there's a problem. Death Trap's rankings are out of 10.
You forgot to normalize the scores,
Motherfucker.
I was like, why
You're
is Death Trap
tampering your
rated
data.
so low?
God,
It's
damn
because
it.
it's out of 10.
You have to just normalize the scores. Multiply it by 1.5. 1.5.
Okay, so 13.5.
Oh, wait, no, or is it 1.3? Wait, no. Okay, so Multiply it by 10 out of
Having
15.
technical difficulty.
Multiply it by 15 out of 10.
That's 3
That's 1.5.
halves.
Okay, so 13.5 times 1.5 would be, well, 6.75 tacked on to 13.5, so that's
20.
it's 20.20. That's 20.25.
Call it 20.
Uh-oh. That ruins
Let's
your
call it
hypothesis.
20. Shit. Yeah.
I'm glad this is documented.
So now, I'm probably gonna keep this in.
The whole thing? Okay.
So now, thanks to my two more mathematically inclined friends,
What happens?
this is why I have them here.
It's the only reason.
So
Obviously.
now I have two outliers.
I mean, 2 out of 3. That's
Oh wait, no, I don't have outliers because
So, okay.
it's Death Trap, which
Hold
is
on, I'm gonna edit our board.
it's Death Trap, which is
and
20.
then Philly. Yeah, you're right.
Death Trap, and then Point Break, which is 21.5. So it's not as dramatic of a trend, but it still fits under my hypothesis with just the one outlier.
Yeah.
Also, this is one hell of a confirmation bias. You know, or like a selection bias.
Oh wait,
Because you've selected movies because they're progressive.
wait, it's 22.
What?
It's 22.
Because of the Bechdel
Bechdel
test
test.
bonuses.
I mean, what you should be doing is you should be like watching, you know, like take some sort of unbiased trait, like watch like a simple random sample of movies involving gayness primarily.
I wanted to watch. I picked these movies out specifically because, okay, like from the genre movie because it's how Hollywood treats,
Yeah.
you know, the gay
but none of
representation
them-
in their own movies. So if I took this to how gays are represented in like the subgenre of like LGBT media, stuff like that, like how they're represented in movies that are supposed to present them in the best light
okay.
possible.
I guess so. In
Yeah.
that sense.
So in that sense, some of these do kind of not fail, but
Well,
they do pretty well.
I think what we're finding is that the film's artistic decisions kind of go beyond their point in time, right? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and also maybe since Death Trap comes so early, but it stacks up pretty well with favorably to Brokeback Mountain, which comes years later. Isn't it? I mean, you could say that it's more progressive because it's farther along, but earlier in time.
Right.
Yeah, it's better for its time.
Yeah. So
I guess
there's
so.
that.
Huh. Well, in conclusion, with now two outliers, the trend still remains to be upward as we go forward through
That
time.
is true.
And the most progressive is still the most recent movie. So I don't think I was completely wrong
You
in
were just mostly
hypothesizing.
wrong.
I was not even
I'm
mostly.
not going to say that either. And he wins.
I went. I
the
went
winner.
review. So this was a review from me, Ben Staub,
Me, Andrew Beebe.
and
And me, Greg Becker.
yeah.
Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching, guys.
I don't know if I'm going to be able to act that.
I can act like an actor who is bad at acting.
Alright, let's do it.
Wait, Shane,
Hey, dude. How did he do this?